office of member of the Board of Education of Mattoon Community Unit School District Number 2 in accordance with the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Illinois, and the laws of the State of Illinois to the best of my ability. I further swear that I shall respect taxpayer interests by serving as a faithful protector of the school district's assets. I shall encourage and respect the free expression of opinion by my fellow board members and others who seek a hearing before the board while respecting the privacy of students and employees. I shall recognize that a board member has no legal authority as an individual and that decisions can be made only by a majority vote at a public board meeting. I shall abide by majority decisions of the board while retaining the right to seek changes in such decisions through ethical and constructive channels. As part of the Board of Education, I shall accept the responsibility for my role in the equitable and quality education of every student in the school district. I shall foster with the board extensive participation of the community, formulate goals, define outcomes, and set the course for Mattoon Community Unit School District Number 2. I shall assist in establishing a structure and an environment designed to ensure all students have the opportunity to attain their maximum potential through a sound organizational framework. I shall strive to ensure a continuous assessment of student achievement and all conditions affecting the education of our children in compliance with state law. I shall serve as education's key advocate on behalf of students and our community schools to advance the vision for Mattoon Community Unit School District Number 2, and I shall strive to work together with the district superintendent to lead the school district toward fulfilling the vision the board has created, fostering excellence for every student in the areas of academic skills, knowledge, citizenship, and personal development.
Thank you, Mr. Ryder. Welcome.
Thank you.
If you would, please take your seat next to Christy. Item 2, reception of visitors. The agenda is 2.1, board recognition of retired board member Susan Braun.
Susie, if you don't mind, would you come stand up here and we'll share a few words, and Gary will present you with this plaque. I'll read some of these words. Some of these words, Susie, come from Crystal Lewin before her passing. So she assisted in the development of this recognition for you. The Board of Education of Mattoon Community Unit School District 2 wish to recognize Susan Smith Braun for her dedication and service to the board. Susie has worked with other board members to create a wide array of learning opportunities at MCUSD 2 that are both enriching and applicable to life skills. Her 33 years of service in education prior to serving as a board member assisted her decisions for students and educators, especially in support of the selection of construction materials and technology that the ever-changing world demands, so our students will be prepared as they move into their new paths. Although Susie has been steadfast and passionate about her opinions and is appreciated for her tenacity in the storm of an argument, she also knows the value of being a team player and carefully evaluated others' opinions. She was considerate when fielding questions from colleagues in the community and addressing their concerns with respect and honesty. The board will miss Susie's insight and opinions as they continue their mission and expanding opportunities for Mattoon Community School District. Thank you, Susie, for your 12 years of service as a school board member and over 45 years of service to the Mattoon School community. We are grateful for you.
Best of luck. Some sugar. Thank you. Michelle. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
right, next, non-agenda, we have one, Ms. Lisa Clapp. Go ahead.
Well, I submitted,
Oh, I'm sorry, hold on, before you start, I need to let you know it's a 3-minute time limit, okay? And Mr. Scotts will let you know when that time's up, okay?
I submitted an email 10 days ago, I understand, and Karen explained the delay, and I just wanted to know where we are on the sex education topic with the new state of Illinois requirements. I asked my school board member friend, she said Mattoon has opted in. She didn't know specifically what the sex ed requirements were gonna be, what we were teaching. We'd like to know as parents what it is that's gonna be taught. I've heard from concerned teachers that, it's things that we would not want our children taught. So I'd like to know what it is exactly that's going to be in that material and how parents are going to be communicated to on whether to opt in or opt out.
Thank you, first of all.
Yes.
My apologies, because a part of our delay was some unforeseen circumstances that we described a little bit about. In short, at the March board meeting, it was approved by our board that we would spend the entire year going through the process to develop curriculum. So there's not any new curriculum that's being taught currently around the sex ed curriculum which you described. So over the course of this year, a group will get together with parents and community members and teachers, and that process will start at the end of this month. So just to offer some insight into.
So nothing new will be taught till 23-24
Correct.
school year.
So new things will be taught though.
No,
You
that has
will-
not been determined. But if you'd like to fill out a participation slip in advance of the thing, you know that.
I do know that.
Okay,
I
thanks.
just wanted to.
Okay, consent agenda, 3.1, approval of minutes. 3.1A, regular board meeting, July 12th, 2022. 3.1B, executive session, meeting, July 12th, 2022. 3.2, financial payment of bills. 3.2A, presentation of bills for approval. 3.3, approval of the 22-23 parent-student handbook. 3.4, approval of resolution on hazardous road conditions for the 22-23 school year. 3.5, approval of the school affiliated organizations conduct activities in district facilities. 3.6, approval of youth sports programming. And 3.7, freedom of information report. Need a motion?
Motion.
Motion, second? Need a roll call, please.
Kathleen?
Yes.
Hedges?
Yes.
Weaver? Yes. Ryder?
Okay, number 4, recommendations and reports of the business manager.
I'll take that.
Is that you tonight?
Yep,
All
yep.
right.
Tom's not able to be with us tonight, so I'll introduce our guests that are here to give us an update on the high school renovations. First of all, Andrew Ewing from Upchurch and Doug Wolfman from Wolfman Construction. So if you guys would like to stand up here and kind of walk through the presentation and kind of update the board, if you'd like, I can advance that if you guys walk through it. Feel free to go ahead and share some of the updates that we've seen happening at the high school.
So right now, we're in the process of renovating the 400 wing, which was the old weight room facility, and it's being converted to the wood shop, and then there were some other spaces that are being converted to the building trades classroom. And then the greenhouse is being added to the courtyard at the high school, and then the greenhouse is being constructed at the middle school. So that sums up kind of the high school 400 wing renovation portion. And then where the wood shop used to be is being converted to the weight room, along with some storage facilities. There were a bunch of buildings kind of around the campus, and that's all being consolidated into 2 different areas inside this building. And then we're going to add locker rooms, bathrooms, offices, conference room, things like that for the athletic program. And then as part of the site project that was done, a press box and football bleachers have been added. And then a new sports parking lot has been poured. Thankfully, the rain stopped long enough to get that in. So if we could just get a little less rain, you'll see some of these photos. They've progressed along since they were taken, and others we can just get it to stop rain, work will move a lot further along. Anything you want to do?
So, show some pictures. So what you guys see right here is where we started. This was the old weight room. We're turning it into the new wood shop. Obviously, we've got some house cleaning to do, but as Andrew had said, a lot of these pictures are about a week old, and it's amazing to see what progress has been in the past week. Same thing right here, just from a different angle.
This is the bleacher project that is virtually complete. There's a couple of punch list items yet to do before the green and gold game, but we expect those to be done in the next week or so. There's about 1,350 seats in this bleacher complex, which is very similar to what you had on that side of the field before, but it's all now in one stand. And before there was only a couple of handicap accessible seats. And now I believe there's 10 or 12 different locations for ADA seating, and then there's ramps at both ends to allow people to get up and down much easier. And the press box, as you can see, it's about 48 feet by 10 foot deep, and it'll have, it's broken up into 3 rooms, so there's a large media area in the middle, and then there's kind of some coaching booths at each end. And then there's actually access to the roof, which is probably one of the best views on campus. If you ever get the chance to go up there, it's kind of cool to stand up there and kind of see all the work as it's progressing along all the way around.
Mr. Duck, if you'll sell tickets for tours.
Absolutely.
This just kind of shows, so that press box came in on a semi virtually completely constructed. And of course, we were fighting the rain when that was installed as well, but they managed to get that in with fairly little damage to the site.
So here's where you'll see the sports center. So the sports center is an addition to an existing building. So the existing building was a pre-engineered steel building. As you see right here, a lot of the CMU walls are being constructed for the addition. If you went out there today, this is essentially what you would see. We still have a canopy to add off the front side. We have pavements to pour around, but it was an addition to an existing building. That's a better angle there, so you can see the lower portion is the addition. The existing building is the larger, taller building that's getting refaced, and this will be over the new sports center. Here's some pictures where the project sits currently. So we started the finish out of the restrooms. This is actually a corridor that leads to the restrooms and the locker rooms. We're hoping to be completed with this in approximately 2 weeks, just before the first football game on August 26th. Again, another picture of the existing building that we've remodeled. All open trusses. It'll be nice and bright. This will be where the wrestling will be, as well as the workout facility. It'll be a great space.
If you talk a little bit about that space, just off to the right on that upper right picture.
Yeah, so this is actually going to be some storage. It's going to be some storage for your wrestling mats, amongst other things that they have. And you're talking about this right here, right, Tim? Yep. So if you walk into the space right here, you essentially have this room, and just on the other side is basically a bigger storage room for more of the maintenance crew that's there on site. But the space is going to serve as storage, workout, wrestling. Great space. Anything you want to add, Andrew?
I would just say that they have a wrestling area that's very similar to what they had before, but they'll be able to peel those mats up and store them conveniently away, and then that'll free up that area for other sports or student-related activities. Dance.
Absolutely. So one of the neat aspects of this project was building a greenhouse in the middle of the courtyard. And so we were trying to figure out exactly how we were going to get our 15,000-pound machines inside the courtyard. We craned them up over the top of the corridors, built the greenhouse in the middle. The greenhouse is nearing completion. We're about a week away from completion, and then we'll come in and seed the area. So certainly had some neat pictures of a crane set up and bringing some big pieces of equipment on the top of the school. So the picture on the left is the former greenhouse. The pictures that you just saw is the new greenhouse at the high school. And then again, this is another picture that you can see of the addition to the existing building that will now house the new sports center.
In this area where the old sports center and the greenhouse used to be, will be an open grass area with the memorial for the, and I think we'll see that in a couple of coming slides, and I'll touch on that a little more. But I know you guys have a pretty heavy tailgating presence when you guys have home games or you travel, and so this area can be used multi-purposely, I guess, as well as anything in the future that may need to develop. It's a nice, clean, green area. This is the parking lot, so there'll be about 114 spaces in this parking lot, and they poured it a week ago Monday, and a week ago this past Friday, they did 500 yards in one day, which is a lot. They did that in about eight straight hours, and that's, I don't know, 55 or 60 concrete trucks. And so they're gonna stripe it this week. They're gonna put some bollard covers on, seed, and backfill around it, and it'll be ready to go for when school starts next week. Then this is the ticket booths. So as you're at the south end of the parking lot and you're coming into the athletic facility, you'll see the ticket booths that have been constructed on each side. And then weather permitting, this week, there's going to be a sign that goes in between the ticket booths that says Green Wave, and it'll be a nice lit feature. And I think that'll be something that will really pop for every sport that people come to the athletic complex here.
So here we see on the left, that was the former Sports Center building that was demolished and made way for essentially going to be the new courtyard. And as you can see right here, this picture is probably about a week and a half old. And if you took this picture today, this would all be in concrete. And then on this side of the concrete coming this way is all part of the courtyard that Andrew had alluded to earlier.
And you can see in the background here, there's a pavilion, and then there's the concession building when you come in, and there's a few other satellite buildings that all have different siding colors, different roof colors. And so another aspect of this project is to try to tie all the buildings together. So you'll see the green band around the bottom, the white band around the top, and then the green roof will be on all of the outbuildings on the entire sports facility.
So this was a pour that took place last Friday. This was one of the first pours of all the pavement that has to take place. As Andrew had talked about earlier, the weather just hasn't been that kind to us this year. But we're making good progress on the site. And so fingers crossed that next week is a dry week and we should be poured out with all our site pavements.
Then this you'll see here, there's the memorial wall. So, you know, it's constructed, and all that's left to do that is put on the metal trim around the top, which I think will go in this week, and that'll be complete. And then you can see there's a concrete sidewalk that'll wrap around, and then inside of that will be brick pavers. And I think down the road, you know, somebody will be able to, there's a tragedy or something, you can have engravings done on the papers. And so the memorials that have kind of been around the facility in the future can be consolidated to this location. And then, you know, there's a military memorial that's actually on the wall, both for active and past military members.
Dustin, anything you'd like to add? I know you've been instrumental in the development of this project and been over there coordinating with both of these gentlemen on site, as well as Harlan Dyer, the site supervisor. He's a former MHS grad. He's done a great job to lead that. But Dustin, anything you'd like to add?
So as far as the project, no, but working with this group, those two standing there, and then Harlan, it's been a pleasure. You guys are really good to work with, and you're honest, and you mean what you say. So that's went a long way. You've really helped that be a smooth project.
Appreciate that.
So I thank you for that.
Just like we're seeing in other facets, there's been some supply chain delays, but we're working through some of that, and hope to have some flooring completed in the 400 wings, so students will be uninterrupted from next week.
That's right.
Any questions? Thank you.
It looks great.
That was
I
wonderful.
walked back there, way off been watching the progress. High school kids are out there almost every night. I'm out there. in passing, you can hear the excitement in their voice. One of the kids was actually, we were admiring our picture on the right and wondering aloud what it was gonna be, and heck, we watched the students, thank you.
We appreciate everything. I know we've, been fortunate to work with a lot of schools, and likewise, Dustin. I mean, you've made the process super, super easy. Trent, Rich, Tim, all of you guys, Tom, who's not here, you guys have all just dove in when we needed it. So we really appreciate that. Made the project go smooth.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Yeah.
All right, number 5, report from recommendation of Assistant Superintendent for Human Resources, Dr. Sosi.
Thank you. Board has report on the office personnel report. It's a long one. Here we go. Certified resignation, Sarah Davis, resigned effective December 22nd, 2022, as mentioned, high school French teacher. She's done a wonderful job, moving elsewhere because of family reasons, so we're going to miss her greatly. Kelly McConaughey is resigning as William Elementary School STEAM teacher effective immediately. Certified appointments, Caitlin Sheff, Riddle Elementary School teacher effective for the 22-23 school year. Then we have Savannah Brewer, substitute teacher effective immediately. Bruce Curry, substitute teacher effective immediately. Melissa Harrison, substitute teacher pending licensure. Classified resignations, Stephanie Dodd resigns Riddle Elementary School Title I paraprofessional effective immediately. Jackie Edwards resigning as middle school paraprofessional effective immediately. Gerald Emmendorf, Riddle Elementary School classroom para effective immediately. Marilyn Harris, Williams Elementary School supervisor effective immediately. Rebecca Lamb, Williams Elementary School lead supervisor. And Karen Pattinson, Franklin preschool paraprofessional, resigning effective immediately. Michelle Stanley resigns Williams Elementary School 12-month secretary effective August 15th, 2022. Anakin Wamsley, longtime Title I Riddle Elementary School Title I paraprofessional, is retiring August 1, 2022. Wonderful job as well, long history in the district. Some classified appointments: Grace Baxter, Mattoon School District Human Resource Executive Secretary position effective August 15th, 2022. She doesn't know what she's getting into. Jonah Bennett, Riddle Elementary School Title I paraprofessional effective 2022-2023 school year. Classified appointments: Isabel Carter, Riddle Elementary School paraprofessional effective for the 22-23 school year. Sandra Chapman, Williams Elementary School supervisor effective for the 22-23 school year. Kelly Copper, Mattoon High School custodian effective immediately. Emily Gurley, Williams Elementary School 12-month secretary effective immediately. Marcia Coates, paraprofessional effective for the 22-23 school year. Sarah Elizabeth Kimberlin, Riddle Elementary School supervisor effective for the 22-23 school year. Melissa Martin, middle school paraprofessional effective for this school year. Jennifer Parker, Mattoon Middle School 10-month secretary effective immediately. Christine Randall, Williams Elementary School supervisor effective for the 22-23 school year. As we continue, Lisa Rash, Tracy Ritchie, Crystal Sparks, retired teacher, Marissa Stapleton, all school paraprofessionals, be it at Williams or Riddle Elementary School for the 22-23 school year. Angela Thomas, Mattoon Middle School paraprofessional for the 22-23 school year. Melissa Young, Riddle Elementary School supervisor effective for 22-23 school year. Rebecca Dodd, substitute custodian effective immediately. Marilyn Harris, substitute supervisor effective for this school year. Tina Rawlings, substitute bus aide effective for the 22-23 school year. Again, classified appointments as we continue. Substitute bus aide, Tracy Schmidt, effective for the 22-23 school year. Michelle Stanley, substitute secretary effective August 16th, 2022. Celeste Webb, substitute paraprofessional effective for the 22-23 school year. Bella Kurtzen, volunteer effective immediately. Helen Kinsley, volunteer effective immediately. Shelby Rich, volunteer effective immediately. Serena Voss, volunteer effective immediately. Extracurricular resignations: Danelle Condren resigns Riddle Elementary School Lighthouse Co-Coordinator effective immediately. Kristen Kimmery, Riddle Elementary School Lighthouse Co-Coordinator effective immediately. Nicole Renshaw resigns Mattoon High School Assistant Boys Soccer Coach effective immediately. Extracurricular assignments: Ryan Blake, Mattoon High School Assistant Volleyball Coach effective immediately. Greg Capitosi, Mattoon Middle School 6th grade boys baseball coach effective immediately. Christopher Dyer, Matthew Middle School Assistant Baseball Coach, 7th grade boys track coach, and Assistant Wrestling Coach, effective immediately. I hope he has an understanding wife. Nicole Epperson, Matthew Middle School Student Council Co-Sponsor, effective immediately, 2022-23 school year. Sarah Matson, Matthew Middle School National Junior Honor Society Sponsor, effective 22-23 school year. Chase Boat, Matthew High School graduate, recommending him for Matthew High School Assistant Boys Soccer Coach, effective immediately. And Michelle Wilson, Matthew Middle School Student Council Co-Sponsor, effective immediately for the 22-23 school year. And as we move on to the addendum, the people that were hired after the board report went out are being recommended to be hired. Hannah Brown, recommending her for certified appointments for substitute teacher effective immediately. Tracy Collins, substitute teacher effective for the 22-23 school year. Sandra Hans, substitute teacher effective for the 22-23 school year. Mitchell Hayden, substitute teacher effective immediately. Sienna Martin, substitute teacher effective immediately. Victoria Novak, substitute teacher effective immediately for the school year. Heidi Phipps, substitute teacher effective immediately. Some classified resignations. Carrie Kiefer, resigned as Franklin preschool paraprofessional effective for the 22-23 school year. Classified resignations. Diana Stark, Williams Elementary School supervisor effective immediately. Some classified appointments. Rebecca Dodd, Franklin preschool paraprofessional effective immediately. Krista Fritz, Williams Elementary School 11th month secretary effective immediately. Sharon Handy, Riddle Elementary School supervisor effective for the 22-23 school year. Stephanie Johnson, Matthew Middle School paraprofessional effective 22-23 school year. Dana Thompson, Williams Elementary School supervisor effective for the 22-23 school year. Bailey Evans, substitute supervisor effective for the 22-23 school year. Cheyenne Hunter, substitute supervisor effective for the 22-23 school year. Extracurricular resignations, Mr. Vincent Walk, Matthew High School Key Club sponsor, effective immediately. He's done a wonderful job. Resigned that position, has been in that position probably over 20+ years in the district. So proud of his service they give the organization. And lastly, some extracurricular assignments. Karen Brown, Riddle Elementary School Youth Sports Coordinator, effective immediately. That's the program that we just recently approved. Angela Hackey, Williams Elementary School Youth Sports Coordinator, effective immediately. And lastly, Taylor Smith, Matthew High School Junior Varsity Girls Basketball Coach, effective for the 22-23 school year. Are there any questions? See none, I recommend the personnel report as presented.
Make a motion, please. By Eric, second. By John Hedges. Roll call, please.
Hedges,
Yes.
Weaver. Yes. Ryder.
Yes.
Catholic.
Yes. Thank you. Number 6, reports recommendation assistant superintendent for student services, Dr. Hill.
Thank you very much. Tonight I'm coming before the board with 3 very exciting action items, and the theme of all of these is community partnerships. We're joined tonight with a lot of community members, and some really exciting work has been done over the last year to bring us to this point tonight, and we're really happy and excited to share some things with the board related to mostly the list. So we have 3 agenda items. One is a milk and honey partnership. The next is a donation from Tulsa Automotive. And the third is to take action to receive an award from the Lumpkin Family Foundation for a green energy program that we partnered with Commercial Electric to present previously. So with that, Milk and Honey, for those of you who don't know, is a local coffee shop. It opened earlier this year, and it's owned and operated by Shelby and Curtis McDowell. Shelby and Curtis approached us with the idea of opening a satellite location at Lift. So we are coming forward tonight with a prepared lease agreement to basically outline what that would look like. And we're really excited about the opportunity of having that Milk and Honey across the street for our downtown friends. So what you're looking at here is an aerial view of the first floor. The board already knows our beautiful iconic grand staircase is right here. Underneath the grand staircase is a space where we have highlighted in some museum cases the Lumpkin family and the Consolidated Communications corporate history. And right in front of that is a nice space for a poppy park, which is what we are proposing and what Milk and Honey is proposing to run in that space. Here's kind of a frontal view. Oh, sorry, go back. So you can kind of see, again, these are our display cases. And actually I was there today. The doors are on them. They're starting to look finished and beautiful. and the cart will just sit right there. It is on wheels, so we have great visions for using Heritage Park right next door, and it can kind of wheel out, do some cool things outside, and come right back in. This is what the cart looks like. It will have Lyft graphics on it, so it's a custom cart. And Shelby has put together a really great menu. It is a kind of a condensed menu, but you can go to Lyft to get all of your favorite coffee and espresso drinks, as well as their famous power-ups, which everybody seems to love, flavored Sprites and all kinds of things. So they've been hard at work at that. The details of the lease were outlined, I think, in your confidential notes, but it is an annual lease. It is about 100 square feet of space underneath the stairs. So I joked it's kind of like the Harry Potter lease. We're leasing them some space under the stairs. So tonight we're going to ask for you to approve that lease agreement. We are in conversations with Gloria at the health department. Really, Shelby and Curtis have done a lot of that legwork. They will own and operate the business and all of the liability associated with that. We are just giving them the space to do so. So she's given them some questions and some feedback. Employees that will be on site will go through background checks just like any of our volunteers do. We're hoping for a sneak peek of some of those delicious drinks on August 17th for the kids. The cart will be completed, and we're hoping that they can actually open on October 1st. So that's kind of the outline of that partnership. So we would recommend approving that lease as presented. Shelby and Curtis texted me about an hour and a half ago, and they were on their way, but they were worried they weren't going to make it tonight, but they wanted to express thanks for the consideration of this opportunity and for their young business, which I believe people in this office are supporting very greatly. Are there any questions? Yes, Erica.
So, and I'm sorry, I probably could have asked this before. Are we expecting the increased traffic from like the general public into Lyft?
Great question.
Or support of the coffee cart?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we actually were working out kind of like hours. Last week, we had a meeting and we talked about what that could possibly look like. Our peak times at Lyft are gonna be in between 3 sessions. That Shelby and Curtis talked about running kind of a shortened day, like 7:30 to like 1:30, and seeing how that goes, and then building a permanent schedule from there. So while we would welcome some of that, the childcare lab that's on the first floor is in a secure area, so it wouldn't be affected by the location of that cart. It's not really the primary purpose. The primary purpose is for people who are at Lyft, or students, or facilitators, and people in the, in the organization. So, yeah, great question.
And then the background checks.
Yes.
So since the owners will continue to own and operate, will we be responsible for those background checks?
They will be.
Okay.
Yes, they will be. We'd be happy to help, but that's part of their business. Yeah. Okay.
You looking for board action on that tonight, correct?
Yes.
Okay, need a motion, please? By John Hedges, second. Roll call, please.
Yes.
Hedges,
Yes.
Ryder,
Yes.
Kevin.
Yes.
Thank you. They'll be very excited. So, super exciting to go on to this next part of our agenda. I've got some friends in the audience that really made this happen. We're going to talk kind of about a partnership with Pilsen Automotive in support of the Lyft concept, of everything that it stands for. Jamie's been a great partner for us, and so we wanted to share with the board tonight what we envision doing together. So, Pilsen Auto has been a longtime supporter of Matching Schools. You guys have heard all kinds of great things that they've done with us and for our students over the years. And Jamie really has been interested in the leadership component, right? Like developing young leaders, as well as the content around electric vehicles that we're looking at on our 4th floor. So you put Jamie together with Dan Compton, and magic happens, and they make up all these great big dreams. And so tonight's partnership agreement really is their brainchild, and so I'm excited to present that, and I'll ask for them to chime in here in just a minute. So mutual interest. So Jamie's been interested in leadership aspects, and Lyft, a part of what we are about is developing leaders first who have content expertise. So that's a perfect match. We believe very strongly in industry connections and mentoring students leaders in the community, mentoring students so that they have multiple people in their lives, helping them become the citizens and the leaders they can be. And Mr. Colson and Colson Auto is also interested in EV, which fits nicely into one of Mr. Compton's pathways. And so we want to expose kids to the most innovative, cutting-edge technology available. And so those two interests match as well. So the specific agreement details, Mr. Colson is making an incredibly generous donation. And I'm gonna let, on these next slides, Jamie and Dan talk about all the amazing, exciting things. But Jamie agreed to donate $73,000 to start this program for our students. So they will actually be able to build an electric vehicle. It's like incredible. So I'll be signed up to go back to high school and hurry up, because space is limited. In exchange, we are thrilled and honored to have Pilsen as a sponsor for that program, as well as a founding partner for Lyft. What we're trying to do there, this is a perfect example of that. So we will see that highlighted on the green energy program, but also on our leadership board. And we're looking forward to things like interviews, on-site tours, as well as maybe guest lecturing or appearances, and then some awards around academic achievement or leadership and some internship opportunities. So we feel like this is an incredible win-win, super generous offer. And now the two guys who know all the cool stuff come up if you want to, and you'll see, you've heard us talk about Mr. Compton since he was hired. And his passion is so evident in this, and Mr. Pilson's passion for making Lyft successful. So when the two got together, they came up with all this amazing
I
stuff.
think when Dan got it done, Dan was the driving force behind it.
So really the primary question was why a full-size vehicle? And as we started developing curriculum for our green energy program, which really I decided to focus on the main three, solar, wind, and electric vehicle. So we started looking at what kind of educational tools and kits were available. They were good, they were sufficient, and I really didn't think good and sufficient really exemplified what we are at Lyft, okay? Which is providing unparalleled opportunities and experiences for our kids, right? So I started digging, found this awesome company, the Switch Labs, out in California. They've been doing this for about 12 years with major universities, and I believe they have about 80 to 90 high schools in the country that are using their full-size kit. So the Switch EV kit is a street legal, full-size, 96-volt permanent magnet vehicle. So it's, they use all the greatest and latest technology, just like Tesla uses. We all know that name. The great part about the kit is that it's super flexible as far as the curriculum and how it's presented. So we can do a 16-week standard semester, which works great for our Lyft kids. We can build a car in an 8-week after-school program. You can also build a car in an accelerated 2-week summer school program. I think the 2 weeks is kind of.
Is that like overnight?
That's like, yeah, so but I think it would be like a great 3 or 4 week program. The really awesome thing about the Switch kit is it's completely reusable. So you build it, every bit of it, they learn battery construction, high voltage safety, all your standard internal combustion chassis, drivetrain components, and then they learn all the electric and motor control stuff as well. They can test it, it's street legal, we can register it, we can drive it, and then at the end, they take it apart, and next semester we build it again. So Switch has assured me that the vehicles have been tested. They have some universities that have been building these and taking them apart every semester and every summer for 12 years now. So they will actually powder coat this in 2 to 3 colors to match the Lyft colors. Comes with everything, all the high voltage tooling and everything that the kids need to safely work on a high voltage system, all comes with the vehicle. Yeah, you can go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
You see why he's the perfect guy for this, right? Yeah?
So my wife has pointed out that this next, there are a lot of bullet points, and she made me promise that I would not go through all of these bullet points. So if you just shoot them all up there, okay?
I'm on it.
Why, right? What are the benefits? So high impact, project based, right? That's what we're doing at Lyft. These real world, authentic opportunities and engagement for our kids. Integrate all kinds of our different courses, right? So while while kids are turning wrenches, they may love to turn wrenches, they may hate physics and math. But what they don't realize is by the end, and they're calculating, capacitance and resistance, they're learning some great physics. And they didn't even know they did it, right? So it's kind of like we're gonna put the cherry flavoring in the medicine. So that's great. Real world learning experiences, right? All kinds of great concepts about environmental sustainability and what green, going green looks like for us. Great STEM competencies, and I really think the most important one here is, these unforgettable class experiences that you just can't get anywhere. I did some research, Missouri, Indiana, Iowa, no high school EV full-size programs at all. Illinois has 4 high schools. They're all north suburbs of Chicago. So we, with the unbelievable gift from Mr. Wilson, will be only the 5th high school full-size EV program in the state. So that's where we're at. And it's a great recruiting tool, right? So come to Lyft and build a car. That's pretty cool stuff, right? This is just a short minute video. Clovis West High School in Clovis, California, they have an incredible EV program. These kids wear like matching pit crew shirt, like they have a really cool program. But what I'd like you to focus on is not the car, but watch the kids' faces as they talk about building this thing. Fingers crossed.
Is it turned off in the bottom right?
Bottom right.
Like, you might have to get out of the presentation though.
Still be able to see the kids' faces.
You might have to get out.
Do name of the case, out of presentation?
Yep, and then down in the bottom right. Yep.
There she is. Look at that, that's our director.
That's right.
Woo!
The project was from the California Energy Commission. It was a project called the EV Switch Lab, and it's build an electric car kit. And we built all the components that make an electric car.
There's a lot of the procedures that we do, a lot of new stuff for us. We have to really work with electrical people and machine work. We did a lot of the electrical wiring by hand, going to the manual. We had a lot of difficulty getting that right. We persevered and we were able to put on it.
Electric vehicles really are where we're going, especially in California. This provides opportunities for career and employment.
We really think that we get a lot from it.
And so the students all kind of work in teams, and we build the different subsections, and then it all comes together in one car.
The car can't hold the mechanical portions of it, and the auto can't hold the electrical portions of it. So having the whole team guys together at the very end is one of my favorite parts. First time you fire that up and you press down on the pedal, you can turn and you just go there and it's
great. We are extremely thankful to California Energy Commission, Rio College, Switch Lab, Clovis Unified, Karen Boone, Richard Houston, Dr. Hemick, everybody who has supported us and allowed us to do this. And I look forward to sending young people out into the workforce to work on tomorrow's electric vehicles.
I think that's the gist of the kit. So that's the kit. Struck up some conversations.
The project was.
Jamie was kind enough and gracious enough to give me 15 minutes of his time on a Friday afternoon. I went in, I pitched it. He did not say yes. He did not say no. He started asking some very, very thoughtful questions, some good questions about the whys and what impact this is going to have. And we just started carrying this conversation back and forth over the course of several weeks, and it was very evident that he got it. He got what we were trying to do. Not just impacting Mattoon, right? But we've got 28 school districts that have the option to attend LIFT, and we have 16 plus Mattoon that have signed the IGA agreements to come. So this doesn't just impact Mattoon; it impacts the entire region. So that's awesome.
So, Jamie, we are so thankful.
Yeah.
Let's hear kind of like what drew you to this and.
Well, obviously Dan was bold enough to get in the office, right? So he got in the office and made the ask, and as we evaluated it, it really is one of those things that, not only what Dan is doing with EV, but what you guys are doing with LIFT is really incredible. You know, our slogan is, if it's Pilsen, it's possible. And I would say with LIFT, it's possible. I think there's just a tremendous opportunity to impact the kids in our community, to impact the communities as well. And then, of course, I think that will impact local business. It's just an amazing thing. Super proud of what we're doing. And it's just really cool. And I think it's something Dan and I talked quite a bit about. This also in our industry could have an impact. Our industry is battling right now, like a lot of the trades are battling, to find really quality people, which is why LIFT to some degree is born. And I feel like it's a good pathway. You mentioned pathway. It's a good pathway, possibly into automotive. And we just want to be there. And then I also think, you know, the Franklin Covey Leadership Institute is phenomenal. You know, it's, of course, over the years, I've used Franklin Covey tools, but just what they do is amazing. And to give our kids that opportunity, raising up great leaders in our community will make all the difference. It's something that's very important to us. You know, so our purpose is pretty simple. It's to make an impact in the lives of our teams, our customers, and our communities. And this like nails all of it. And so it was a big ask, and it was kind of hard, you know. And like, but you know, it's I think it's something that's an ask that will you know, pay dividends for a lifetime. It's quite transformational, is the way I look at it. So pretty cool stuff. So thanks for doing it. Thanks for having the guts, to ask for it. I just think that's incredible. So I really appreciate it. We're glad to be a part of it. Can't wait.
Yeah, so I mean, we are so grateful for not only your partnership, but also for that kind of vision and leadership in our community. It means a lot. And the other really exciting piece of this is there's a third partner involved. Lakeland College has graciously allowed for us to use their new workforce center to actually build the car. So you talk about pathways, you talk about opportunities, additional access and exposure to not only what our kids are doing, but what they could do. So we're excited about that. And with that, we recommend board action to accept this generous donation.
Any questions?
I don't have a question, but I do have a comment. So I've had the pleasure of knowing Jamie and his family, and I know you live today for a lot of reasons, but I am really grateful for this because I know that you live on places of sincerity, and it's an example and a demonstration to our students of philanthropy and what the character is, and what being a good steward in the community is, and caring about others. Like, you genuinely care about people, and I know that to be true. So it's not just you coming in and doing this really awesome thing. I know you as a person to be a good person, and I think that's amazing for kids to see, to really see good people doing good things and giving back. So thank you.
Thank you. I know you as a good person too.
I appreciate that.
I just have one quick question. You said this is going to be built where often, site here, right?
At Lakeland.
Okay. Because my question was going to be as far as safety, what we would have to do for that.
They will not be driving it down the stairs.
The question became obviously when Jamie agreed to do it, I was like, well, I can't build a car on the third floor. And so I reached out to Michael Beavers, who's the chair of the technology department, and they were so excited, the first words out of his mouth, and I told them we're doing this out in the hill. I said, I need space. So they're gonna give us a lab with an attached conference classroom. We can store all of our tooling there.
I just didn't know with the power pack the way they are, and things that's happened if someone's gonna do additional safety stuff with the lift building or not. But
Well, to that point, Gary, it's a really good point you're making. Part of our curriculum in these programs is are some of the safety certifications right off the bat. So that's a great point.
Yeah, they'll be getting not only their OSHA 10, but with the electric vehicle kit and 96 volt systems, we'll actually be getting them ARC Flash certified as well. So very good.
At like
And I just
16,
wanted to
17.
reiterate, this is rare across the nation. Like, this isn't an opportunity that very many kids nationwide have an opportunity for. That's correct, right?
That is correct. Switch has about 100 and counting universities and specialized schools, they've got about 130 of the kids in universities and high schools.
That's universities and high schools.
Yes.
Hopefully in about a few seconds, we'll be one of them too. I have a motion and a second.
Ryder?
Yes.
Weaver? Yes. Hedges?
Yes.
Kevin?
Absolutely.
There we go.
We have more good news, so just keep going. 6.4 is board action to accept an award. I know, it's like, just kept coming back. So, we are going to ask the board to take action to accept a donation from the Lumpkin Family Foundation for a green energy program project at Glenn. And what you're looking at here is a design by Derek Bartlett at Commercial Electric, who we've been working with for, I don't know, a couple months now on kind of visioning what this could look like. And so tonight we're gonna just kind of refresh your memory. It's so neat to see from concept to now you come walk across the street and what was abstract is now becoming concrete and real. I mean, even like the little stairs and the furniture, it's like, wow, it's happening. This award will affect the two programs in green here, primarily our 3rd and 4th floor, which are really our trades floors, where our students will be engaged in HVAC, green energy, also construction, manufacturing, and trades. So what we're going to talk mostly about will fit here into Dan's program with some overlap into Mr. Brown's program on the 4th floor. So what we talked about, and you just heard Mr. Compton talk about the pathways for green energy. There are 3 specific things students can focus on. They could do electric vehicles, they could do solar, or they could do wind. Students from all of these communities are already enrolled on that floor. This is just on the 4th floor. So we have a wide reach in those programs. And the purpose is really to employ some environmentally conscious practices, to pursue and investigate energy solutions, and most importantly, to develop innovative thinking in high school leaders for future technologies. We want them to be able to think and imagine things that don't exist yet. So we're developing those types of thinking skills. So here are our partners for the 3rd floor. And again, this actually, the layout is happening, and we even have the furniture in there as of today. So these are some of the partners that are involved in that program. And the project specifically we're talking about tonight has those 2 parts. One is a canopy mounted solar project over the parking lot, and the other are EV charging stations, also in the parking lot. When we talk about solar, what we're talking about specifically in this program is the labor and the material necessary to mount these solar arrays. And this is Derek's design. He did an incredible job. It's huge, right? Am I exaggerating? I mean, it's pretty big.
It'll be a statement.
So it has, 280 panels. Commercial has also given us some panels for the students to use on the floor so they can have some to interact with. As part of the curriculum, this web-based monitoring system is really cool because that's how kids will learn how to manage and monitor what the system is actually doing. It also includes the canopy and, like I said, they're the classroom lab use. This is what it would look like. And so you can see that's our parking lot. And then we have the 2 canopies there that will be capturing the power to run the building. Specifically, you can kind of see here, this is what's included in the plan, and there's an aerial view of the building and what those canopies would look like from the top down. And here is just kind here's a snapshot of how much power it's going to generate. And here, this talks about the annual production by month and the energy offset. So this is an interesting graph just because the actuals were collected during it was during a COVID year, so the actuals are a little bit different, but you can kind of see how much they're projecting, how much energy we would be creating or producing with those panels. And I'm gonna ask Derek to help me talk through all of these specifics. Some outcomes programmatically are that students would be learning solar concepts, right? They'd learn how to manage these systems. They learn how to fix them, and then they'd apply leadership skills to develop innovations and applications. Like, once I learn this at Lyft, how can I use it in my community and beyond? What can I do with this new knowledge to make the world a better place? We predict that the production will offset the consumption most months. That has an asterisk because, again, those aren't actuals. It is also high profile. I mean, it's going to be beautiful, and you're going to see it. That's the most heavily trafficked intersection in Fulton County, and it will be on full display. So it will set a model and be an example for the Mattoon region and for visitors to the region. The REX program will pay us directly, and I'm going to ask Derek to join me if he would, to kind of talk about some of these. Or Mark! Yeah, from commercial, we have Derek Bartlett from Commercial Electric. We also have Mark Odell and his daughter Megan, who's been a huge help with the TIPS program and making this whole thing possible. So, yeah, so tell us about all the money we're going to save, Derek.
So this is how this program works, and Dale can chime in because I know he's aware of it too. The program is the Illinois Adjustable Block Program, and what it is you put the system up, they turn around and we predict how many credits the system's going to produce in a certain amount of time, and then those credits are then sold back to REC. REC purchases your credits every year, and every year you get a check in the mail. For this system alone, we're estimating a yearly energy savings of $12,940. The total over 7 years, $90,580. The REC program itself will turn around in the first 7 years and pay you back $168,000, and over a 20-year period, you're looking at a check from the state of $473,000.
So when you put solar in, typically they talk about a payback. So if the district tonight said, we want to invest in this project and we're just going to do this project, after 20 years, we would be making money, so to speak. We'd be getting more money than we would have broken even, it would have paid for itself. But the program or the donation that we're talking about accepting tonight covers the costs. So from the very beginning, the district will be able to take that REX, those dollars and those checks, and use it to lower programmatic costs at Lyft on the whole. So yeah, that's kind of what I was trying to say. So upon the award acceptance, these amounts that we just quoted for you become immediate savings to the district. Not only, and we're not paying out energy, we're not paying this bill every year, but we're realizing actual checks to the district in the amount of $23,696 per year. And that just went up, didn't it, Derek?
Yes.
That number?
And if yes, on the federal, it goes up again if the legislation is approved. That number will increase also. But I would like to point out that the inverter and the panels, the optimizers that we're getting from students that Dan asked that they can put together and take apart, and put them together, take them apart again. It's the exact same system as the one on the array. So if they want to troubleshoot something in the classroom, they'll see it in real life on the array. It's the exact same thing. The software on this is very user friendly. Students can go in and they can actually see what each individual panel is producing. They can see if they have an error in one. They can see if the inverters producing this system. I have 4 inverters, 4 25K inverters that they can look at. They can go in and you actually use your phone to access the program on the inverters. They can pull an app on their own personal phone if they wanted to, go down to the basement or wherever the inverters. Take a picture of the QR code and it actually lets them access into the inverter. There's no, it's the same system that Dan will have in the classroom. Along with that, with the EV chargers, got an EV car, you gotta have a place to charge it, right?
That's right. Yeah, and that's the next part of the project, right? Like, so in addition to the solar project we talked about, this award also includes an electric vehicle charging station, actually two of them, one AC, which is dual, and one DC, which is a single, but it's a super fast charger. There's an official name for that.
It's a DC fast charger,
That's
there
what
are very few around here.
Yeah, so, and the really neat thing about that, is if you have an electric vehicle, and you type in a map, like let's say that you wanted to drive from Chicago to New Orleans and you're in an electric vehicle, it will show you where these chargers are. So upon acceptance of this award, moving forward with the project, Mattoon will show up as a place that people can stop on their way, grab something to eat, get their car charged up, and get back on the road. These are all of the pieces and all of the parts that are required to actually install those EV charging stations, which are included in the project detail.
Another thing I'd like to point out about the chargers, it does have a really good software platform that the kids can get on. If they decide to tie this into some kind of financing as well, they can look at, you can change cost to charge the vehicle. If someone comes up and plugs in, it's in there for an hour, X amount of dollars for the first hour, and then they can change that model for the next hour. If someone just parked there and they're not charging, they can charge different rates for that, so it kind of gives the students an opportunity to go in and actually build, if they were to try to go to a gas station, or they're gonna put these in a gas station, and see how that model is built for charging and billing purposes. That's all.
And in addition to that, they will also, if you opt into the fee base, which you should, you guys won't have to handle anything. The company that you're partnering here with will send you guys a check for any revenue that's generated off of that system.
And that's ChargePoint, right,
Yes,
Mark?
yes.
Okay, so if anybody's ever driven an electric vehicle, or you're out of town or whatever, you've seen these ChargePoint, charging stations, that's the brand.
It's one of the, most of the major automotive companies have partnered with them, and that's the direction that they're on as well. So, Jamie's gonna probably have a few of them at some of his dealerships. And so it's something real world kids will be seeing, if they do go into that.
And as Chrissy said, this will come up on all the apps, so whether you're on a charge point or plug or switch or any of the charging apps that are out there for EV vehicles, it will show, in Mattoon has a DC fast charger and an AC charger.
And here's the aerial view of where we're proposing this to go. You'll notice they're just to the north of the west entrance here, out the door. And the AC charger is just one station, but it has, dual outputs or outlets, I guess. And then there's the DC or the fast charger. This is kind of a mock-up of what it could potentially look like. We will have the Lyft logo on there. And we hope on the map it would say something about Lyft Central Illinois. And so here are the reasons for that. We kind of talked about it already. We do think it's really a great opportunity for our kids to not only learn EV concepts and how to manage those stations, but to earn industry recognized credentials so that we go out into the world and we have experience with this kind of technology, and it's an area that's growing. So that gives our students an edge. And also take those concepts, like Derek was saying, it's the same basic concept that's in the solar. So what else could that concept be applied to in the future? And we really are excited to maybe be a leader in that area as it relates to that. There are no other ones in the downtown area at this time. So we're really, really thrilled and thankful to be able to present to you that we shared this proposal with the Lumpkin Family Foundation. And our ask was for $394,933.60 to cover the solar component. We also asked for an additional $98,041 for the EV project as outlined. So the total ask was $492,974.60, and they awarded the district the whole thing. So I want to just say that the Lumpkin family members are part of that board, and they wanted to express their gratitude to a visionary board looking to continue the good use of that building next door, and how excited they were for the opportunity to partner in this way. So that, and also thank you to Commercial Electric for helping us figure out how to do this and come up with such a cool design. That would be really wonderful for our downtown. So the way that will work, we'll ask for your approval here in a moment. Upon approval, we will utilize the TIPS program to allow us to have Commercial Electric complete the project. We already have a purchase order number reference, and we anticipate getting this whole thing started in September. And so that's kind of our next steps in the timeline. So again, we really want to express our gratitude to Lumpkin family and also Consolidated for partnership. And really that's kind of the theme of the evening, is that we can't do any of this alone. We can do so many cool things when really cool, generous people are involved. So we really are very thankful for that. Thank you. And with that, we recommend board action to accept the award as presented.
Motion. John Hedges, second.
Yes.
Any questions for the board?
Not a question, just a thank you. We want this program to work, we want it to be successful, we want students to be employable, we want them to be successful citizens. They can't do that if they don't have the training and the skills. And so I'm just glad that we are taking action and people are buying in and being supportive, because it matters. It matters. So I think it's going to be amazing, and we will see a difference in the community when we have people who are stopping to utilize the charging station. And they have to wait for their car to charge. And it does not happen in 10 minutes, right? So they're going to have to visit and support local businesses. That is huge. That is huge. I don't know if anybody realizes that, but when I first moved here, people talked about baseball, right? The little baseball field and Burger King. Now we have Lyft and charging stations. I'm just being honest. Like, we learned about Burger King in law school, but nobody knew where it was. So now we have something else that is on the map for Mattoon, and I think that's huge. And you can visualize it, you can have the foresight to say this is going to be outstanding, but in a few months, people are going to be able to see what it really looks like and what it actually does. And when students are going home to their parents and talking about Lyft, they'll get it. So I'm excited. So thank you very much. Thank you to the Lumpkin family. I know they're not here, but I appreciate them.
And I echo that. When we see these presentations, for something we've talked about many years, having something like Lyft, we just didn't have everything we needed for it. And now when we see the presentations, you got all the local businesses that's buying in, and not only local, ones from out of town that are buying in also. It just shows how much that they're willing to put into our students at Mattoon and other regions. We have 28, as you said, Dan, 28 regions that's gonna be participating in this. And I think it's just gonna grow from there, because it's just amazing. But we do appreciate all the support from the public and all the businesses very much. So with that, we'll take a roll call vote, please.
Weaver? Yes. Ryder?
Yes.
Hedges?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes. Number 7, reports and recommendations of the superintendent.
Yes. These are two formal actions in regards to executive session minutes for the period of January 1, 2022 through June 30th. The recommendation for board action is to maintain those votes. So to seek that motion.
Motion, second. Mr. Hedges. Roll call, please.
Ryder?
Yes.
Hedges?
Yes.
Weaver?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes.
Item 7.2 is just, it's similar in that process, but board action to purge the executive session audio recordings for the period of July 1, 2020 through December 31, 2020. Again, this is just a formal action the board takes semi-annually. So let's ask for a motion in a second.
Motion, please. Mr. Weaver, second. Mr. Hedges, roll call, please.
Hedges?
Yes.
Weaver?
Yes.
Ryder?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes. I believe we have no further
We do not, middle school, you guys, Kristen, tomorrow, good day, right, for sixth grade Discovery Day. So, those, incoming sixth graders tomorrow morning.
Okay. No other business, need a motion to go to supper at 8:10? Larry Weaver, second. By John Hedges. Need a roll on that or not? Roll call, please.
Weaver.
Yes.
Ryder.
Yes.
Hedges.
Yes.
Kevin.
Yes. Thank you, you all have a good night. Thank you.